How to succeed in chemistry. I'm hoping that all of you are here because you want to succeed in this class. If you don't want to succeed, you might as well just leave at the break, right? So I'm assuming that all of you want to be successful. How do you be successful in chemistry? Well, it's important to be curious and be imaginative. Scientists are very curious. We are creative in some ways, not necessarily in the way of making sculptures and composing symphonies. That's creative as well. But we are sometimes very creative in our thinking. You have to think outside the box to solve a problem using your imagination. Asking why is a good thing. But why? Why is it like that? Why can you do that? That's a very good question. You need to be willing to do calculations. There is math in chemistry. And I know that some of you are not fans of math, but there's no way we can get around math in chemistry, not at this level. So I will do everything in my power to make the math better for you, okay? I have explained math to lots and lots of students who hated math. So if you are willing to work with me and try, I will work with you. I'll match your effort on understanding the math. You need to be committed to learning the material. This is not a class where you can show up for lecture, do the lab, and pass the class. Okay? You have to study. You need to do homework. It's a little bit like learning to play the piano. You could go to a studio and watch a professional pianist play the Moonlight Sonata. You could do that Tuesday, Thursday mornings for an hour and a half for 18 weeks. At the end of that period, would you be able to play the Moonlight Sonata on the piano? No. Even though you had watched someone else do it over and over and over again, you have to do it yourself. It's the same with sports. You can't learn to swim by watching someone else. You certainly can't learn to swim fast or to dive beautifully by watching someone else do it. Chemistry is like that. You have to do it. Doing it is called homework. Okay, so if you want to succeed, you're going to have to do some homework. Now, some students need to do more homework than others. I like chemistry, remember? So when I was in college in chemistry, I'd listen to the lecture. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'd do a couple of homework problems on each topic, and I was able to do it and get the correct answer. And so I didn't need to do the problems over and over and over again because it just came to me because chemistry was easy to me. I'm guessing that in this class, most of you, chemistry is not going to be an easy thing. But it is still doable, but you're going to have to work at it, okay? And making mistakes is actually good because we can learn a lot from the mistakes that we make. So you do a problem and the answer's wrong. Well, then you figure out, why is my answer wrong? And how can I get to the correct answer? And that's where you learn. This is an interesting quote from Roald Hoffman. He won the 1981 Nobel Prize for Chemistry. He said, "I like the idea that human beings can do anything they want. They need to be trained sometimes. They need a teacher to awaken the intelligence within them. But to be a chemist requires no special talent, I'm glad to say. Anyone can do it with hard work." So you have to be willing to work at it. But I believe you are all mentally capable of succeeding in this class. So it's up to you whether it's that important or not. Quick notes about the text. There are questions at the end of the chapter. All the questions that have numbers that are blue have answers in the back. And the exercises within those problem sections are paired. So, Question 1 and question 2 will be similar concept. And so you can do the one with an answer and check yourself before you do one without an answer. Now, we're not going to be doing homework from the textbook on paper. We're going to be doing online homework. The questions in the online homework will be very similar to the questions that are in your textbook. So one strategy is to look at the homework problem online, and the numbers will relate to the 5th edition of the textbook. Find that question in the book and do the paired question first and see if you can come up with the right answer. And so make all your big mistakes on paper and then try the one that's online. Also, at the end of each PowerPoint presentation, there is a chapter in review. And so this is just sort of the highlights of what was covered in that presentation. I'm not going to read those to you in class, but they're there for you to look at.